Welcome to another episode of the Apex Perspective podcast. Today I have with me Sumanth Mara, who's currently the engineering manager at Google. Now, Sumanth has started off his career as software engineer at PhoneStack. Subsequently, he led as a software engineer at Samsung in India, and now is the engineering manager at Google. But Sumanth, can you tell me a little bit more from your perspective, your background, first as to
Mhm.
why you became technical, and more about what led you to what you're doing today?
Okay, so why computer science to start with, right? So while I'm growing, computer science was one of the course everybody was interested into considering for their studies and also the growing up and becoming an engineering, right? And while I grew up in India, uh, around those lines, or like probably like 15-20 years back, computer science been one of the major course everybody was considering because how technology can really evolve, seeing the dot-com boom and the mobile ecosystem was actually going back in India around like 2006 2007, right? And from there it actually fascinated me to more pursue in engineering, especially during my engineering course, where I started doing projects for small companies, helping them in building a Java based web pages, HTML, and all the stuff, right? So from there, I saw a revolution where mobile is actually getting a front. Of like people more want to invest in mobile because it was a communication mode, very easy to
Mhm.
access and stuff, right? So the mobile started off with only the communication as in a primary use case, right? But as in mobile is getting more powerful, you can start building an applications. And I started my career with as a mobile app developer with a Symbian. I'm not sure if you know Symbian as operating system.
Mhm.
And I started with my company PhoneStack, where we have been building an application through an VoIP, right? But VoIP is a very powerful, which cannot sit on mobile phone. So we started building in a protocol called SIP, Session Initiation Protocol, which is lightweight, similar to VoIP. And we built an application. We rolled out to millions of users. And from there, I was more of like, okay, now I want to not just build an applications for a mobile
Mhm.
phones, but I want to more curious in what it takes to build an operating system for
Right.
mobile phones, right? Then my
Mhm.
journey started from there. Where I worked for a Nokia for some time,
Mhm.
building an Symbian operating system for messaging. And then I moved to Samsung to build a Tizen operating system. And
Mhm.
from there, I kind of worked with Qualcomm as through my other companies to brew as an applications and stuff. So from there the journey started, and I've been constantly looking forward, like I've seen how this technology is actually evolving from so many different fronts, right?
Very
From
good.
communications to entertainment, and also it was helping people in a multiple zones, right? So people like in a rural India's, like if you know,
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you know this, back in those days Google actually enabled a Wi-Fi at every train station, railway stations, for a free of cost. And
Really.
it actually
Wow.
made people to start thinking how what internet can really make a difference, right?
Yeah.
And from there the journey started from mobile phones, and then I started working at Google for YouTube a little bit, and then I started working for Android Automotive OS,
Mhm.
where we are building an operating system for cars, right? So it's a fascinating for me to see this how technology is evolving at every front, to make humans life much easier. And but with this, in starting 2023, we all saw a big change in industries, how AI going to affect going forward. So it's a
Right.
beginning, we'll see.
Well, I'm very pleased to see that you're part of that change driving for these technological advancements. Now, to start off, I would love to ask about at what point of your career did you realize having an understanding of the business side of things was important? Every technical individual I've interviewed, everyone I've had the pleasure of interviewing at the principal level or even at your level, has had that specific point. So, was there a particular point where you noticed these tangible business outcomes are important to learn about?
Okay, so it's a very good question and can be parsed into a different ways.
Mhm.
So I'll kind of give my perspective, the way I saw this, or how I kind of took this and kind of sliced it out so that I can execute well.
Mhm.
So when I started my career and where I am today, one thing which I really ask everybody to focus is the technical side of things.
Mhm.
Right? For any company or any organization, the core part is like how well you can know the thing and how you can execute on it. And a
Mhm.
quick example, like I have, let's say someone owns a restaurant, right? And the restaurants are really known for a food and the taste of a food. And who is important for it? The chef is an important person, right? If chef
Mhm.
is not there, and the restaurant is a similar way for technical side of things also, right?
Right. Right.
So I started more of a technical guy as a software engineer from the day when I
Mhm.
started my career. And over the period, what I learned is to everybody to scale and everybody and a company to scale, you need three major parameters of it. You need to be technically strong,
Mhm.
you need to know how to collaborate, and you need to know how to influence, right?
Mhm.
So even if for any business to scale, the major point I keep stressing on my team and myself is like make sure whatever you're building, you have stakeholders who will be consuming it,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Absolutely.
And you need to know how to collaborate with your stakeholders so that you can influence slash delegate those things to them,
Mhm.
right? And that's where you create a business. Even if you
Right.
see any big business, either it can be a Google or an Apple or a Microsoft or a Meta or stuff, right?
Mhm.
They cannot be a pioneers by themselves. Every
Mhm.
company need to collaborate, and every company need to build it something which can help a humanity every day, right?
Mhm. And
So
and this
that's
would
where
lead
my yeah.
excellent. And this would lead to a very important question for you. As you did mention, a lot of what you just start with was being technical throughout your career. And of course, there was a point where you transitioned into people management in terms of, like you said, collaboration and influence. Those part of the components. What was the transition like for you, and where was that transition to learn those skill sets? Because that's a completely different skill set than, of course, being highly technical.
Okay, so every day we learn. I learn every day, right?
Mhm.
And my journey as a manager, I started not just like in a manager on a day one, but I slowly started doing this steps every now and then. One very simple step: just help your coworker.
Mhm.
Are you really taking your inputs? Yes.
Mhm.
Is he denying your inputs? That's okay, because your inputs may not be helpful for him, right? You see
Mhm.
those qualities in you, right? Oh, I think I do have an capabilities where I can provide my inputs.
Mhm.
Start with one person, because that's where you call as a mentor, right?
Mhm.
And then grow from a mentor to a team lead, right?
Right.
And but the mentor and a team lead are more focused towards the technical guidance you are
Mhm.
providing to a team or a team members, right?
Mhm.
And then you kind of get into their planning phase where you say like, hey, I think you can do this, you can do this kind of a stuff, right?
Mhm.
Try to structure a work where you can understand the problem,
Mhm.
divide the problem, and then delegate the problem, right? That creates a confidence in you and your team that, hey, how someone is seeing a problem on your behalf,
Mhm.
and kind of a delegating that problem to you and giving you a ability to break that problem or solve the given problem, right? So
Excellent.
that's the step-by-step approach I kind of take. And then at every level of this, I kind of stop where I really want to stop in with regards to the experience of a team member.
Mhm.
Some people are really good at breaking taking a problem and breaking down. Some people are not really good at not they don't see the problem as a problem,
Exactly.
right?
This is
So
this is what requires a very competent leader to recognize where are people lacking in certain areas and
yeah,
where people actually excel in certain areas.
yeah,
And this is exactly why I think when you're talking about identifying the problem and then delegating the work and delegating the problem itself, you have to have a very strong understanding of the people you're working with. You have to understand their
Yeah.
skill sets, to understand what they're capable of, and then and only then can you actually delegate it properly. If you give a particular aspect of the problem to someone who's not as uniquely skilled for it, then there's going to be a problem later down the line. And I'm sure this potentially was a learning curve. So this is why it's a very important question for you. Is as an engineering manager, from what I was understanding, you guys have input in terms of the hiring process. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So the question for you is, what do you look for? Because when you're hiring for your team, what do you look for in traits that can actually be relevant? Is it also one other question for you? And I apologize for adding more context to this, but do you look at is a specific problem you're currently solving? Does that have input on how you hire, and how do you approach hiring in general?
Yeah. So I will add another point to the
Sure.
manager skills to the previous question. Uh, in an execution model at every company, we need to give a team member a chance to take with a responsibility a given problem and parallelly create a psychology behind it, like that's okay if you fail it.
Psychological safety.
Yeah, psychology safety is very important because in a mode of execution or when someone learning something new, we all need to support where he's coming from or where or they are coming from and kind of give them a guidance and stuff. So what I do generally is I tell my team member, hey, we both agreed that this is a problem we want to solve and this is a goal. I will leave it to you how you want to execute it, and I will see you at the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And we all go with a timeline that, hey, let's try to achieve this goal by a certain timeline. And if I don't see or meet you at that goal, then let me traverse back where you are, and I let you navigate with my inputs, right? So that's a safety we want to provide, right? And
That allows
coming
for
back,
growth.
yeah,
Excellent. I love that perspective. And if we were to transition to the hiring process again, I'll repeat what I was asking. In terms of your hiring process, when you're looking for specific people to be hiring, does the specific condition or the specific problem you're currently tackling, does that have input on how you hire and what you look for? And in general, how do you hire?
okay, yes. Well, like usually when I talk to people to hire on my team,
Mm-hmm.
or even when I start collaboration, right? The three main accepts I really see is, let's say I, as an interviewer, I put my problem,
Mm-hmm.
right? I try to understand the thought process of a candidate, how he wants to consume that problem. And every problem can be solved. It's not that there's a solution for every problem and every solution can solve entire problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I generally ask is and see is how you want to structure the problem and create a boundaries that, hey, my solution can solve this particular problem within these boundaries,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
That
Interesting.
is one. And second, once you identify the boundaries to that problem, can you solve how what is the thought process in solving a problem?
Mm-hmm.
And the third process will actually tell you the experience you have in solving certain type of a problem, or you have an experience to take that problem and apply your previous experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
The second is thought process of executing the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And third one is when I or anybody giving you a suggestion to solve or take this as an input to make it better, are you really considering those inputs,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So I see these are the three major parameters to hire, because first will tell me how you want to really structure your problem and what is that you're really solving for. And second, what's your experience, and it will understand or gives me an understanding that what are the gaps you have today so that you can solve a problem better or even great, right? That will give me an ability that you can solve more problems in a much more tougher problems using this approach, or maybe I need to guide you in some way. And the third biggest point is how you are taking your someone's input and applying them into a suggestions. right? So
Mhm.
these are the three parameters I
Excellent.
see. Yeah.
Very good points. And a question for you is, what is more important? Is it outcome that they produce, or is their thought process more important to you?
Oh, every time I believe in thought process.
Very
Outcomes can be
interesting.
different. Outcomes can be different. Outcomes can change, right? But the way I execute every problem is not about solution or anything. It's just about thought process, because
Right.
I want to give a chance everybody to put their perspectives, thought process that will actually drive innovation.
Yeah. And that is that a unique perspective in this technical world? Is it unique to prioritize thought process over outcome, or is it something that is commonly understood that thought process is actually something that is the best possible component to look at?
I don't know, but the leaders or manage most of the leaders I work, I kind of believe they more focus on thought process.
Mhm.
But I do see a lot at Google, like people appreciate you asking the questions which can change your perspectives
Mhm.
and bring an efficiency.
Mhm.
And second, the psychology safety for this.
Right. Excellent. So I really like your really approach to understanding what is the possibility for this candidate. What can they do at the company? Because as you said, like the outcomes can vary. It can vary depending on the situation. But if you understand the thought process, you understand where the skill set gap is, as that's
Yeah,
one of the components you mentioned, you can understand and make a decision, where can this person go?
yeah,
It's not just what can they do in this moment, where can they go, and where can they go long term. That's the
yeah,
thought process that I can see
yeah,
from you right now, and that's what I really can appreciate. And then as far as really understanding the whole perspective of basically being a technical leader that involves business, you have to have that technical understanding. You have to be able to collaborate and influence people. So I
yeah,
really appreciate that. And a concluding question for you is the influence factor. So influence and persuasion is one of the harder components in business, right?
yeah.
So what do you do to influence? And I don't think most leaders deliberately try to influence, but there's certain aspects that allow them to become more capable of being influencing. So what is your approach to doing that?
So I mean, the way I collaborate, why we all collaborate? We all collaborate because maybe we need an extra help,
Mhm.
or we
Skill set
want to,
gaps.
yeah, or maybe we both want to achieve the same goal in a shorter time, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe we are doing something similar so that I can build A, you can build B, so that we
Mhm.
can put together a solution for it, right?
Mhm.
So what happens during this collaboration is influencing, right?
Mhm.
So why we really want to influence someone? Do we are really asking them to do my work so that is an influence? No, right? But what is an influence, in my opinion, is you have a problem A, and let's divide that problem into a different slices, and I will build this for you, and you can consume it, which you can make something better on top of it,
Mhm.
right? So that's where I kind of tell people is influencing, right? I build it for you, you use it, and you will feel you will get an efficiency or a velocity out of it, right?
Okay.
And vice versa also, right? And like if you see, one of the biggest concern we have in this world is misunderstandings or anything on those lines, right? Where
Mhm.
I, as a leader, I tell people that go and talk to the people not just through the lens of telling them, hey, do my work. No, identify, are we trying to solve the same problem, right?
Mhm.
uh, if you're trying the same problem, let's take a lead
Mhm.
depending upon the experience of a given collaboration or an influence here. Let's say you're more experienced than me, but we decided to influence each other. That's true, that's okay. But
Mhm.
what are my benefits out of it? Like if I will be collaborating with you, you will be start influencing me because you're a senior, and
Right.
I see it in a way that I think I'm the more positive side because I can learn from you, I can
Yeah.
work with you. That is my outcome. And second,
Mhm.
the way I see it, like, hey, during this process, I have an
Mhm.
opportunity to work for something where you can take my work and we can show it as an a together, and someone can help out of it or you can help out of it, right?
Mhm.
So
I really appreciate that, especially you breaking down what does influence mean to you and what are the actual benefits from both parties of influence. I
yeah.
think that's a perspective I've not really heard on this podcast before, so I really appreciate that. So what we'll do now is go ahead and conclude this part of the conversation, and we'll go ahead and move on to a little bit more about you, Sumanth, on the personal side. And the first question I have for you is, what is something about your life that you wish more people knew about?
Sorry, can you repeat it?
Of course. What is something about you or your life that you wish more people knew about?
Oh,
It's a
uh,
hard question sometimes.
yeah. Um, it's a tough question in a sense that everybody will not see you to the same lens. Everybody have their own lens, right? Uh,
Yes.
if someone really wants to know more about me or who I am,
Hmm.
I would just say a person who can reach out when you need them,
Hmm. I
right?
love that. Yeah.
Because
And
I
I,
don't think anything else need in this world because you have everything at your fingertips. But I just feel, I mean, when I moved to this country, I
mhm,
grew up in a combined family with 20 plus people most of my life for the 20 plus years, right? And every day they used to be people around me. Uh, if anything I need, I would just ask my aunt, uncle, if my parents are not around me, because we
mhm,
stayed all together. But when I moved to USA, it's all me, right?
mhm,
And I coming from such a bigger family, and all I'm single here for some time before my family came here. It's like
mhm.
I think I need people around me because that was
Yeah.
the model I grew up, right? And I
Yeah.
feel that should be, I mean, especially in USA, I feel that you need a social life is important, especially in this country, right? So I feel like
I would agree.
yeah, so when you need someone to talk, I think that's how the people should feel like, oh, I think
Mhm.
I know I can call Sumant now. So
I would actually very much agree. And to be vulnerable here, I've not had too much social. I've kind of put my social life on like on a back end due to the fact that I have other ambitions. So I can understand that point of view. I think that it's really important to not lose sight of what's important and to really understand. Yes, you have objectives, but also there's certain priorities you should also have of keeping your family close, of keeping having a good social life. I think those points are very, very important and ones that I think people who are ambitious don't talk too much about or think too much about. So I appreciate that. And the concluding question for you on the personal side is there's probably a lot of changes a month between you when you were in your 20s and you now, or I don't know if you're still in your 20s, but if you're not, then okay, this question is relevant to you because you look like you're pretty young. What do you think is the biggest difference between when you were in your 20s and now?
huh. Hmm. See, it's everybody have their own journeys, and everybody have a different starting point. uh,
Hmm.
Either it can be through financials, or either it can be the institutions you came from, either it can be the backgrounds you came from, right? So for
Hmm.
me, I would have see something different would be, I would have wish I would have same resources back in those days what I have today.
Hmm.
uh, I would be might be a different person, right? Or
Yeah.
maybe I would be learning something much faster, right? So that I wish I would have those uh, what do you call resources around me would have helped me.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
if I would get a chance, I will be just going back and doing those things.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we had a very productive conversation, but thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on. Where do you think people can learn most about you? Is LinkedIn a good place to learn about you, or is there a certain platform that's better to learn more about you and the work you're doing?
Yeah, myself, I'm a very private person in
Okay.
general on the social
Okay.
media for multiple reasons.
Okay.
I tend to use LinkedIn to see what people are really doing, because
Mhm.
uh, I don't really use any other social media apps like Instagram or a Facebook or anything else. Uh, I just want to be private because my own personal life is so busy that I don't think I have an
It's understandable.
opportunity to. Yeah.
So is LinkedIn a good place to learn more about you? If someone on this podcast listen to you, is LinkedIn a good place to learn about what you do and see
Yeah.
more of you?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you again, Sumanth, for having me on, allowing me to have you on the podcast. It was a pleasure to have you on. This was Aryan Mohindra and